Among Us is one of those games that I just enjoy playing during the night because I expect the unexpected. Just knowing that something strange can happen at any moment just makes the game more exciting. And I really wanted to solve the mystery behind Player, especially after my last encounter with him. There was a mysterious creature that just took both of us, and that's all I remember. But the thing that I just can't forget is that half of Player's body was no visor, without a real explanation. And I want to answer the question, what happened to Player? It's time to investigate. But before we get any further into this video, if you enjoy my content, let's try to get this video to 30,000 likes. And if you're new to the channel and don't want to miss out on any of my videos, make sure that you hit that subscribe button with the bell icon turned on. You are always welcome to be part of the Chari family. But now, let's begin with this story video. So something strange happened to me while I was playing Among Us. It was an early morning, and I got online to play a few matches. Since Among Us is one of those games where you can pass some time and have a good experience, I was just casually walking around the lobby. And at first I thought I was on the loading screen, but no, I wasn't. It was just empty. It was a dark void. I was thinking to myself, maybe it will go back to normal. But as I walked around, I saw no players. So I said hello in the chat, and I looked around and no response. And since I wasn't gonna get anywhere just standing here, I continued to walk around, even though I wasn't getting anywhere. But after some time of looking, I found a player. His name was Mono. So I said hello in the chat again. Mono, can you see this? And he said, Chari. I told him what is happening. Who did this? And he said, I have no clue. So I told him, follow me and let's find a way out. So me and Mono began to search across the entire void to see if we could find an exit. And we looked everywhere. I'm not sure on how big this void is, but it seems endless. The void was dead silent. It was just me and Mono, and no one else. And at the very bottom it did say that it was 1 out of 15 players, so I have no clue on how Mono is here. I then heard a noise, and I thought it might have been Mono, so I stood still. But he also stood still, and I saw something in front of me. It was a ghost, but since the void was really dark, I couldn't really tell who it was, so I ignored it. I told Mono in the chat I am scared, and he said me too. What's wrong with us? I told him I just saw something on my screen, but it wasn't you, and I can hear something coming from my headphones. I meant to say headphones. Mono ignored me. I don't know if he was just scared or if he thought I was crazy, but the only thing that I did know was that me and Mono were stranded. Mono then sent me a weird message in the chat. He said, it's me, Chari. I think Novisor did this. How does he know Novisor? What do you mean? How do you know him? And he said, because I am Player. You seem scared, which is why he can't spell. And Mono said I am. So I told Mono, or Player, whatever you want to call him. So I'm assuming that this is happening because a creature took you away, which happened in communications. And before I could continue my conversation with Mono, the server closed. I got myself into another game and I wanted to play on the map of Polus. Since Polus is one of those maps that can have a lot of crazy things, especially at night. Player then joined my lobby, but he wasn't wearing his beanie. He was wearing No Visor's antenna. Why? Player then said, glad you made it out, Chari. So I'm just gonna assume that this is a player that I was stuck with in the void. I don't know how Player managed to find me, but that's besides the point. When we got into the game, I only had 3 tasks. Whoever was a party leader did a horrible mistake. But whatever, I'm just gonna do my task, since 2 of them were in the dropship. I then tried to make my way over to electrical and the lights went off. And since I needed someone to clear me, I stood next to Player, since we were in the void together. And I think he'll help me. The lights then turned on and we entered electrical, which is connected to security. But then I saw Player next to the window. That's not a task. What is he doing there? As he ran off, the door closed right in front of me, so I lost track of him. But then a meeting was called. A player in the chat was telling everyone that it was Player, and I was confused on why. He's been with me the entire time. Weird. We got back into the game, and then the lights turned off and I found Player near weapons. I don't know what he was doing over there, but I have asteroids to clear. I need to get the job done. A body was then reported, and I told the crewmates player seems to be doing tasks that don't even exist. And we all voted for player, and we were wrong. He wasn't the imposter. But what was he doing? Why was he in areas that don't have any task? I'm gonna have to go investigate. So I went over to electrical with a few other crewmates that were gonna turn on the lights. I was trying to look through the window where I saw player, and I saw something behind it. It was No Visor. My heart stopped. What is he doing here? Luckily the lights did turn on, and No Visor disappeared. But I remember player telling me about No Visor. I then wanted to check the last place that I saw player, which was near weapons. So I went over there when the lights were off, and I could see a ghost. No Visor was watching me, but then I was killed with green. One of the imposters ended up getting ejected, but there was still one more on the loose. During that final meeting, 2 players voted for yellow, and for some reason, Samantha won. Even though there was 2 other players left. I got tired of playing on Polus, even though I only played 1 game. Oh no, look who joined. It's player. He is definitely mad about last game. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't exactly my fault. He was staring at the window, and the only time you do that is when you hear the noises coming outside of your house, and that's the ice cream man. And Polus has no streets. Someone then sent a message in the chat, and it was player. He said, "Chari, I need to show you something." And I said, "What?" I waited awkwardly until he would respond. Player is a horrible typer. He told me No Visor has taken over my body. No Visor's taking over his body. I mean, I'm looking at him and he does have an antenna on his head. And I had that recently. The last time that I had the antenna, I could hear weird noises. And I encountered No Visor. And one thing that I remember is that when I joined the lobby, it said 3 out of 15 players. And there was only 2 of us. And the player that ended up joining was player. Which means that he might have already been here. I just couldn't necessarily see him. I think I knew a little too much, because I got banned from the lobby. And it wasn't player that banned me, it was someone else. But I wonder who it is. My screen was then completely black. What is happening? And I got a message from player. It said, "Meet me in electrical, where I know no one will be around." How am I now getting this message from player? It must have been from the previous lobby. It's almost like our minds are connected. My screen then glitched, and I was sent into a game, and player was here. I'm assuming I got into the same game as player. It just sent me here. And since he told me to meet up in electrical, and I am a curious crewmate, I went over there. Player then walked in, and we met up in the center of the room. And our minds connected. Player was then taking me back to the day that he went up against No Visor, and how after the fight, his body began to get infected. Even though he won the battle, it came at a cost. Player now had the ability to turn into a ghost, and half of his body showed No Visor. The thing that just didn't make any sense to me, who was the creature that took Player's ghost? And took me as well. It didn't show me anything in player's memories. I was now back in electrical, and player was gone. Where did he go? But that is when my screen began to glitch, and I could hear something coming towards me. What is that? The creature had very long arms. It had a black tail. And No Visor was behind the head. It wasn't just behind the head, it was attached to it. No Visor turned player into a monster. That explains why player's ghost died. My screen was then flashing. Every flash she would get closer and closer. I could then hear the sounds of a plane, and shadows were appearing on my screen. And it was at that moment that one of the shadows took player away and saved my life. If you would like to know what happened next, make sure to drop a like down below. I do also want to give a massive shout out to Kitty King for helping me produce this video. If you would like to help out a smaller creator, make sure to go check out his channel and subscribe to him. And if you're new to the channel and want to see more Among Us story videos, make sure that you hit that subscribe button with the bell icon turned on. And check out these other Among Us story videos that are found on my channel.